The Atlanta Braves tried to build a dynasty.
This place is as electric as it could possibly be.
It's not working.
Fastball hit to left. It is long gone. A second deck 3-run home run for Bryce Harper.
Yet just a few years ago, while riding the high of an improbable World Series victory, the Braves had seemingly set the foundation to potentially one day obtain the illustrious title teams rarely ever challenge for: Dynasty. Instead, as a consequence of the inherent randomness of an MLB season, after 2021, the Braves have failed to win a single playoff series, despite accumulating the second most regular season wins in this span. Now, as the reigning champion Dodgers seek to fulfill their own dynasty ambitions out west, on the East Coast, the Braves have more familiar foes to deal with. While not a nightmare scenario given their perennial status as contenders, the Braves' window of opportunity to capitalize on their ambitions to create a dynasty has diminished considerably. So the question is, what happened? Truist Park, home of the Atlanta Braves, and a venue I hold in high regards following my trip there back in 2024. As you can tell by No More Fielder's face, the Braves didn't win, but we had a fun time. An outing that wouldn't have been possible without tickets from today's sponsor, SeatGeek. With more than 70,000 listed events including concerts, sports, festivals, and more, SeatGeek has become my go-to ticketing app. In fact, I used SeatGeek to buy my ticket to San Diego FC's upcoming first home game. And of course, I'll be using it throughout the MLB season. SeatGeek makes browsing tickets super simple thanks to their rating system. A 1 to 10 scale where green means good and red means bad, so make sure to look for the green dots. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. Also, you know I came through for you guys. You can use code STORM10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code STORM10. So make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek.
Swing and a drive. Deep right field. Into the chop house.
The date is August 11th, 2021, and Ozzie Albies has just hit an improbable walk-off 3-run home run. Improbable not simply due to the sudden 82% shift in win probability, but because these types of situations often ended like this.
And a swing and a miss. The ball game is over.
Now sure, this team's 9 total walk-offs ranked top 5 league-wide, and they often came through with runners in scoring position. But in situations labeled high leverage and late and close, different story, which contributed to their lousy records in 1-run and extra inning games. Still, even in losing efforts, this team showcased resilience. Whether it be a 7-run comeback concluded by a Freddie Freeman grand slam, a late inning game-tying Ronald Acuna Jr. home run, or even pitcher Max Fried stepping up and delivering a walk-off single. Sometimes these efforts led to wins, other times they led to losses. But as manager Brian Snitker said, "We fight through adversities and grind. It's not who you are, it's what you do. So you just keep fighting the fight and grind through it, because you never know."
You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.
Yes, sir.
However, to confine the adversities this team faced to solely their issues in high leverage situations is a disservice to the improbability of their journey. These 2 dots represent 2 dates in the Braves' 2021 season, April 29th and August 11th. Before Ozzie Albies' walk-off, April 29th was the last day in which the Braves were within half a game of the NL East division lead. What lies in between these 2 points is what should be an inescapable abyss. 7%. Those were the playoff odds of the Atlanta Braves on July 23rd, a percentage 9 times lower than their opening day odds of 63.8%, the 4th highest in the National League. An immense downfall triggered by a number of factors, including a flurry of injuries, off-the-field affairs, underperforming players, and frustrating losses. However, the climax of their demise occurred 2 days before the All-Star break, when Ronald Acuna Jr. collapsed onto the ground in agony. A torn ACL. Acuna's season, his MVP caliber season, was over, and the Brave season continued to tumble down into the abyss. Then, GM Alex Anthopoulos traded for outfielder Jock Peterson, and Eddie Rosario, and Adam Duvall, and Jorge Soler. Instead of lying down for the count, the Braves chose to revamp their outfield. But why? Well, despite the statistical improbability, the reality, according to Anthopoulos, was that the Mets have been in first place the entire year pretty much, but no one's really pulled away. If someone had pulled away, or we were 20 games under 500, then you're looking at it as highly, highly unlikely. But with the way things have gone, we have a chance. An improbable proposition, but not impossible. Over the next 2 months, through a combination of elite pitching, the National League's best offense with runners in scoring position, and the emergence of Soler, Albies, and Rosario as a trustworthy high-leverage trio, this team ascended from the depths of baseball purgatory to their 4th straight division title. Miraculously, the Braves had made the postseason, and they peaked at the right time.
It's a fly ball to center field. Lorenzo Cain going back. Freddie Freeman's left the yard and put the Braves on top.
And he sends a shockwave through the ballpark, and they're going crazy here in Atlanta.
Two-game bottom of the 9th. Riley line drive, that is down! Here comes Albies, and the Atlanta Braves win Game 1! Rosario, 3 hits tonight. And first ball swinging. Oh, and it gets through! And the Braves win again in their final at-bat!
This is unbelievable. They go up 2-0 in the series.
Here is Rosario now. Homer, triple, single. In the air, right field. And this one is up and out! The Atlanta Braves are 1 win away from their first World Series appearance since 1999. Rosario, deep to right. It is gone! Eddie Rosario keeps his dream postseason alive.
There's a shot to Dansby. He slides to it. He's got it. Throws over.
There it is! The Atlanta Braves are going to the World Series! That's it! Astros take Game 2. 7-2 is the final. And on to Atlanta we go. Hard hit, 1-0 Atlanta.
Great 5 innings from Ian Anderson. 5 innings, no hits. Got him swinging strike 3. And the Astros are hitless through 7 innings.
Flies one into center. Back at the wall. Come on. 2-0 Atlanta. Braves win Game 3.
It is a 2-hit shutout, and they take Game 3 over the Astros by a final score of
still 2 men on for Atlanta, and now Austin Riley to the plate.
2-2 pitch now. There's a shot into left base hit. Throws to the plate, and it's a 2-1 game. Here's one into right. Back at the wall. The game is tied.
It's tied up on a solo homer by Dansby Swanson.
Driven in the air to left. Back at the wall. It is gone. And the back-to-back home runs in the 7th inning seal this one for the Braves. 2-2 pitch, and he struck him out. And the Astros stave off elimination and win here tonight on Halloween.
And now they're going to give their fan base a chance to be as electric and as loud for a Game 6.
Gives that one a ride, deep central. That ball is gone.
And what might be his last at bat for the Atlanta Braves, he's just made it 7-0. Left side, Swanson to first. The Braves are world champions.
This is what dreams are made of. And for the 2021 Atlanta Braves, the dream has come true. They are world champions in 2021.
You can't replace Ronald Acuna, but I just don't believe you can have the mindset of you lose any one player and you just shut it down for the season. The injury of Acuna could have easily been the catalyst that solidified 2021 as a lost season. Instead, the Braves underwent one of the most exceptional championship runs in modern baseball history. According to Fangraphs, since 2014, no championship-winning team, aside from the 2021 Braves, has ever possessed single-digit in-season playoff odds, much less possess these odds so late into the season. Even still, it took an additional 2 weeks for the Braves to reach a 500 record. Since 1901, only one championship-winning team held a record at 500 or worse 110 games into the season. The 2021 Braves. The Braves didn't just defy the odds, they were an anomaly. And now, they had the opportunity to elevate this anomaly into a dynasty. But before any plans of back-to-back championships, the Braves needed to solidify their foundation. A group of players who will define the era of dominance they sought to create. Well, it all starts with the pillars, Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ozzie Albies, who in 2019 had both signed egregiously team-friendly deals, with ESPN's Jeff Passan noting that people were labeling the Albies contract in particular as the worst contract ever for a player. For context, in 2019, 22-year-old Albies accumulated both 4.9 B WAR and 4.2 F WAR, respectively. Not only was he the first second baseman in 40 years to accumulate this much B WAR in a season by the age of 22, using the rough estimated market value of $8 million per WAR, his 2019 production was worth an estimated $33.7 million. The 7-year contract Albies signed is worth a guaranteed $35 million, and that's without mentioning the 2 team options added to the ends of both Albies and Acuna's deals, effectively delaying their ability to become free agents until the end of the 2020s. If either player is what he can be, Atlanta bought itself hundreds of millions of dollars in surplus value. Yes, hundreds of millions. These deals exemplify how a multitude of unique factors, which we'll get into later, can influence players to take deals below projected market value in order to secure what is ultimately life-changing money. I look at it as it's not just for money, because I'm not playing for money. I'm playing for my career, and I took it because I want my family to be safe. This amount of money is more than 99.9% of us will see in our lifetimes. But through the lens of the baseball marketplace, bargain is a massive understatement. As one member of the team said, it's huge for the Atlanta Braves organization when you can lock up 21 and 22-year-olds for 8 to 10 years that are already that good and that polished already. It just sets this organization up for success for a lot of years. In short, the pillars for a future dynasty had been established. But of course, there's always room for one more. While Acuna and Albies were developing their skills in the minor leagues through the mid-2010s, Freddie Freeman had long established himself as a bona fide star. Between 2016 and 2021, only 3 players accumulated 25 B-WAR and maintained at least a 140 OPS+: Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, and Freddie Freeman. Safe to say, Freddie Freeman was a superstar, and superstars don't often enter the free agent market. While the idea of the Braves' longtime first baseman signing elsewhere wasn't completely unfounded, Freeman had long established his desire to remain an Atlanta Brave through the rest of his career.
We're the World Series champions! And lastly, Dansby said it best, re-sign Freddie.
Until months later, when he traded in the familiar red and white for Dodger blue. Freeman had left Atlanta and moved westward.
In what might be his last at-bat for the Atlanta Braves.
But in reality, this decision was in response to the Braves plucking a first baseman away from the West Coast. This is Matt Olson, a 27-year-old Atlanta native who just produced a season eerily similar to Freddie Freeman's 2016 season, a year he finished as a 27-year-old. While the 31-year-old longtime Brave showed little signs of slowing down, once it became clear the Braves weren't going to meet Freeman's asking price, they chose a different direction. A blockbuster trade for Olson and a subsequent 8-year, $168 million extension. Months later, Freeman fired the agents who led the contract talks just days after his return to Atlanta, where he received his championship ring. A bittersweet moment that was masking a behind-the-scenes saga between multiple parties who felt conned by the other. However, the deed was done. In their quest towards a dynasty, the Braves chose to march on without one of their leaders, leaving one question on everyone's mind. What happens now?
Line drive right center field, Atmos down. Olsen around second, on his way to third. It is going to be late, and the Braves win it.
With this walk-off double to conclude the month of July 2022, Austin Riley broke a long-standing team record held by the great Henry Aaron, the most extra base hits in a single month. The following day, Riley was awarded the largest contract in team history. 10 years, $212 million. A hefty deal rewarded to the man who ultimately joined Evan Longoria and David Wright as the only 21st century third baseman to produce multiple 6B WAR 135 OPS plus campaigns through their age 25 season. Now, the Braves had locked up not one, not two, but 3 all-star infielders for the foreseeable future, leaving one spot left to extend. Yep, center field.
Smoke towards center. Harris got a good job and a diving catch. How about that play, Jeff? His second big league game. Hang out a gold star on that baby.
This is rookie center fielder Michael Harris II. Entering the 2022 season as the Braves' lone top 100 prospect, he began the year in AA. Then, a few months later, GM AA offered the Atlanta native a life-changing proposition. $72 million over 8 years. Fast forward another few months, Harris celebrated a well-deserved National League Rookie of the Year award along with American League winner Julio Rodriguez, as they became the first 2 rookie center fielders in the integration era to produce a 130 OPS plus 5B WAR season. A tough bar for any rookie to surpass, hence why Rodriguez earned 29 out of 30 first-place votes, while Harris earned 22 votes, placing above his rookie teammate Spencer Strider. In contrast to Harris, before the season, Strider was excluded from every reputable top 100 prospect list. Yet, he ended the year as arguably the league's most prolific strikeout pitcher, sporting a lethal mix of near 100 miles per hour fastballs and nasty sliders, resulting in a 38% strikeout rate. Yeah, you already know what the Braves are about to do. 6 years, $75 million. A significant pay raise just days before his first career playoff start. Several star players on team-friendly multi-year extensions, a recent championship on the mantle, the best World Series odds of any National League team. Overall, if there was any team most prepared to take on the arduous road towards becoming a dynasty, it was the Atlanta Braves. However, don't let their 100-win record deceive you. Through May 31st, 3 teams led the league with a barrel rate of at least 10%, meaning they were hitting batted balls with an optimal combination of launch angle and exit velocity at a rate higher than the rest of the league. Those teams were the Yankees, Braves, and Angels? Mike Trout, please stay healthy this season. Anyway, barrel rates of this magnitude normally signify an elite offense. Well, normally. The Braves began the 2022 season with plenty of home runs, but the combination of a league-worst strikeout rate, below average on-base percentage, and mediocre WRC+, along with a mostly struggling rotation, resulted in a sub-500 team 10.5 games out of the division lead 2 months into the season. In short, the Braves had come out of the gate stumbling with little signs of slowing down. A reality that kept manager Brian Snitker up at night. I was rolling around, not sleeping. Then I started jotting some notes down in my hotel room, and I needed to get in front of them. We weren't ourselves. The message? Relax. The aftermath? 14 straight wins.
Swing and a drive, deep right center field. That ball is long gone.
One event doesn't make 14 wins happen, said first baseman Matt Olson. But it was nice to hear Snit get up there and tell everyone to relax a little. This 14-game winning streak induced a run of dominance through the end of the regular season, matched by only the Dodgers. However, while the Dodgers had essentially solidified a division title by mid-August, the Braves faced a seemingly insurmountable mountain to climb. But why does winning the division matter so much? Why not just accept a wildcard spot? Well, the ramification of the new collective bargaining agreement altered the league's playoff format. In 2021, the format looked like this. 3 division winners who all advance to the divisional round, and 2 wildcard winners who battle in a single elimination game for the 4th spot. Simple enough, but because the owners wanted more money, more competition, the format expanded in 2022. Not only did the number of playoff teams per league increase from 5 to 6, only the best 2 of the 3 division winners in terms of record are guaranteed a division series spot. Now, the 3rd division winner faces the newly added 3rd wildcard team in a 3-game series, while the 2 best wildcard teams face off as well. Flashback to early August, the red-hot Braves seemed destined for a wildcard series due to the Mets' season-long control of the division lead. Until 1 month later, when the Braves snatched first place for themselves. The Mets had lost a 7-game division lead to their fierce rivals, but don't be quick to call this a collapse. The Mets maintained a record over 500 during this period. Unfortunately for them, the Braves, for the first time since 2003, held an 82% win percentage over a 28-game span. A span built upon this team's success in high-leverage situations, which was ultimately a key factor in this team's ascension into NL East title contention, a race that culminated in the final week of the regular season.
Going back, still going back, he's there! And the Atlanta Braves now lead by 2. Their magic number is 1, and they have won 100 games on the season.
When I came to the park on Friday, I told my wife, well, the playoffs start today, and that's what it felt like the whole playoff weekend. Just a few months prior, the Braves were an underperforming, strikeout-prone mess. One team meeting and a 14-game winning streak later, this team catapulted themselves not only towards their 5th straight NL East title, but into an opportunity to achieve a feat not seen since the late 90s Yankees. Back-to-back championships. Well, that's not what happened.
After more than a decade, postseason baseball has returned to Philadelphia and returned to Citizens Bank Park.
For the Phillies to the National League Championship Series.
101 wins, a division title, home field advantage, an extended period of rest, all became meaningless once the Braves entered this hostile, rowdy environment, ultimately leaving Philly stunned, dejected, and defeated. That's why baseball can be so tough. You play 162 games to get to this point, and anything can happen come October. It's just not fun. The Phillies' shocking defeat of the Braves tied the 2019 Nationals World Series win as the 8th largest upset in MLB history in terms of regular season winning percentage, a list including another 2022 upset, the Padres' defeat of the Dodgers, leading some to debate whether the expanded playoff format exacerbates the inherent unpredictability of the MLB postseason, therefore diminishing the purpose of the 162-game regular season. Not only does Spencer Strider categorically disagree with this idea, here's where that argument falters a bit. Between the start of the divisional era in 1969 to 1993, the final season before the implementation of the wild card, the average record of a team playing in the World Series was 97-65. Since 1995, that average record has fallen to 95-67. A negligible difference, if you ask me. Perhaps the potential for early round upsets has risen, but in terms of the quality of a World Series team, that hasn't really changed. Sure, momentum helped propel this 87-win Phillies team past the 101-win Braves, but the roots of this momentum must derive from real skill and success. Let's rewind back to May 31st. This was rock bottom for the Atlanta Braves, and the same was true for the Philadelphia Phillies. Fangraph's playoff odds are based on 3 factors: current standings, the remaining schedule, and each team's projected performance. The earlier you are in the season, the more these odds rely on future projections. Hence why the reigning World Series champs still held favorable odds on May 31st, while the Phillies' chances were less than 1 in 5. Ultimately, ultimately, for the Phillies, this was the result of a roster characterized by uncertainty due to the creation of their new grand experiment. Can elite offensive firepower conceal the flaws of a potentially awful defense? On May 31st, the answer was a resounding no. Still, in the midst of this chaos, the Phillies had a saving grace, a lifeline embedded into the roots of this team: volatility. Anyone following along here would likely agree this is a very talented and very flawed baseball team. They'll have their great stretches, and they'll have some extreme struggles. We'll see home run barrages and pitching meltdowns, encouraged greatly by poor defense. A proclamation written by CBS Sports' Matt Snyder ahead of the season. In short, knowing this team's ingrained volatility, as much as the odds were stacked against them, embracing the chaos was the only way forward. And it worked. However, the Phillies stumbled into the postseason with the prerequisite of winning a wildcard series before their nightmare matchup with Atlanta. Although the Athletics' Jason Stark did leave a glimmer of hope for Phillies fans. Get back to me if the Phillies steal Game 1.
Ball center field, onto the track, at the wall, it's gone! It's not over yet! Matt Olson with a 3-run home run, and it's a 1-run game in the 9th inning.
And the pitch. Swung on, line towards right field. Coming on, Castellanos, still coming. He dives, and he got it! Nick Castellanos with a full-out dive has made the catch in right field.
A near historic 9th inning comeback, thwarted by one of baseball's worst defenders. A microcosm for what was a disaster of a series for the Braves. Max Fried's flu-like symptoms in Game 1, Spencer Strider's disastrous Game 3 start following a month on the shelf, Charlie Morton being struck in the arm on a line drive in Game 4, all factors in this team's demise. The 2022 Braves were an exceptional, well-rounded team. Still, if momentum isn't on your side, postseason glory is near impossible, much less the Braves' ambitions to create a dynasty. Although, even the greatest dynasties fall short of perfection. Take the late 90s Yankees, for example, a team constructed with a homegrown core who won 4 titles in a 5-season span. The one blemish in this period, 1997, was a year where the reigning champs lost in the divisional round to a team with 10 less regular season wins. Sound familiar? Nonetheless, this 1997 defeat is viewed as a minor hiccup in an era of dominance. Could the 2023 Braves repeat history? Well, they were certainly going to try, notably trading for all-star catcher Sean Murphy and dealing away young backstop William Contreras. The Braves didn't exhibit a need for a catcher, but they felt the opportunity to acquire an elite defensive backstop with extra base hit pop was too tempting to pass up. The 6-year, $73 million extension was the cherry on top. However, this offseason wasn't without some key departures, namely closer Kenley Jansen and all-star shortstop Dansby Swanson, with this departure in particular illustrating a key element of the Braves' strategy: avoid signing players at their peak value. Here's a simplified overview into the structure of the baseball marketplace. Players receive Major League service time for each day spent on the 26-man roster or injured list. A minimum of 172 days spent on the roster out of 187 total days equals 1 year of service time. After 6 years of service time, a player is eligible for free agency. The salary breakdown of these 6 years looks like this: 3 years of minimum salary and 3 years of salary arbitration, a period where, to really simplify, players earn annual pay raises with no certainty as to how much these figures will escalate year to year. This is where the Braves come in. Of the 7 players who signed extensions with the Braves, 6 of them signed their respective deals at least 3 years away from free agent eligibility. In addition, none of these extensions exceeded an average annual value of $22 million. For context, Dansby Swanson 7-year, $177 million deal with the Cubs has an average annual value of $25.2 million, a figure much larger than the Braves' sole offer of a $16.6 million AAV. The greatest challenge we have is, rather than have a certain time window of winning, we're attempting to be competitive every year. It's hard because if your young players have success, they will get more expensive and they'll be harder to retain. You have to make tough calls. To summarize, the Braves entice foundation caliber players with the option to eliminate early career salary uncertainty by offering life-changing contracts in exchange for an extended period of team control at a team-favorable market rate. It's a system rooted in calculated risks, but also the ethical quandary of savvy or manipulative business practices. Modern general managers are tasked to spot weakness and exploit it, as owners believe it's how championship teams are built. Whether or not you agree with this perspective from Jeff Passan, it's a fact that the decision to accept an extension rather than test free agency comes down to a unique cocktail of factors for each player and situation. As written by MLB reporter Hannah Kaiser. What Anthopoulos and the Braves seem to excel at is stacking the deck in favor of acceptance with as many factors as they can control. Such factors include favoring players with ties to the Atlanta area, as well as players represented by smaller agencies who are more prone to encourage the acceptance of early career extensions to keep business afloat. However, at the bedrock of it all, the Braves have created an environment players want to play in. Back in June 2024, The Athletic released a poll conducted on players from around the league. One of the questions was, which team would you sign with if contracts, state taxes, and rosters were not a factor? At the #1 spot was the Atlanta Braves. Guys aren't going to want to stay if it's not a good environment, a winning culture, but that's clearly the case here. Sure, if a team offers a player enough money, they'll sign just about anywhere. On the flip side, to convince players to leave money on the table, the allure to join such a team must outweigh the lost income. That's what the Braves have created. An organizational environment boasting big league success and a track record of prospects flourishing, which in turn is used to persuade players to exchange years of control at a valuation beneficial to the team's bottom line. The Atlanta Braves exemplify modern baseball's obsession with player value, a concept rooted in the exploitation of player motivations and quantified by complex projection models rather than outdated beliefs. And now, heading into 2023 and beyond, they sought to not only recreate the consistent success of yesteryear, but achieve what the teams of the 90s and 2000s couldn't: multiple championships. Not only were the Braves the league's lone 60-win team at the All-Star break, they had just concluded one of the most prolific stretches ever. An 88% winning percentage in a 27-game span, joining the 1914 champion Boston Braves as the only teams in franchise history to accomplish this feat. An encouraging precedent for a team who sent a league-leading 8 players to the All-Star game. However, in the background, question marks surrounded an injury-riddled starting rotation, hence why the addition of a proven starter was explored. However, Alex Anthopoulos elected to wait on the impending returns of Kyle Wright and Max Fried. Not an exciting deadline, but perhaps the safest approach towards preserving the momentum and camaraderie of this championship-caliber team, which is exactly what they did. 104 wins, tying the 1993 Braves for the franchise's second-best record since 1900, a feat spearheaded by arguably the greatest offense ever, the league's first-ever 500 slugging percentage, the best OPS plus and WRC plus since the 1927 Yankees, and the first team ever to produce 4 35-plus home run hitters in the same year. Marcell Ozuna, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, who set a new franchise record, and Ronald Acuna Jr., who showcased an unforeseen combination of power and speed. Although the most peculiar aspect of Acuna's year concerned his strikeout rate, or should I say, a lack thereof. to this point in his career, strikeouts represented a prominent blemish on an otherwise immaculate skill set. Then 2023 happened. Suddenly, Acuña's strikeout woes vanished, a microcosm of a team-wide phenomenon. An incredibly bizarre side effect for what was ultimately an aggressive, high-swinging offense. Take a look at this graph. The x-axis represents swing rate, while the y-axis represents hard hit rate, which is the rate of batted balls hit with an exit velocity of at least 95 miles per hour. Moving from left to right, these dots demonstrate not only a range of skill, but a range of hitting philosophies, from more passive teams like the Padres, Reds, and Brewers to the aggressive, free-swinging teams such as the Angels, Rockies, and White Sox. Yet, apart from the Padres, these teams didn't exhibit much offensive success, illustrating the potential consequences of delving too far into an extreme approach. Unless you're the Atlanta Braves, who used their aggressive approach in conjunction with the highest hard hit rate of the StatCast era to generate historic offensive production. Controlled aggression is how Austin Riley referred to the team-wide philosophy, specifically in two-strike situations, an approach that fit perfectly with their ability to get on base and hit the ball hard, the prime combo for success in modern baseball. As is striking out your opponents, otherwise known as Spencer Strider's specialty, ultimately setting the Braves franchise record for strikeouts with 281. In other words, the Braves got their money's worth. Strider's 2023 production, in accordance with FWAR, was worth an estimated $43.7 million on the open market. In fact, the 2023 production of all core players was worth far more than the average annual values of their deals, showcasing a foundation built for consistent championship runs.
The Braves are the kings of the East yet again. 6 straight division crowns for Atlanta.
For the second straight year, a Phillies team who'd once again emerged from the depths of early season struggles, surrounded by a chaotic sea of red and white, had, like 1993, vanquished the title hopes of a 104-win Braves team in a first-round upset. To put it simply, the most dominant offensive unit in modern baseball history vanished. That's the unpredictability of the MLB postseason exemplified. And sometimes, volatility creates intriguing parallels. Like 2022, late-season pitching injuries impeded the Braves' title hopes, resulting in an identical playoff series upset in terms of regular season winning percentage. Although, perhaps the most glaring factors behind their postseason struggles are found in their swing tendencies. In the 2022 and 2023 regular seasons, the Braves remained consistent in their aggressive philosophies until the postseason. In 2022, the Braves were less aggressive, swinging at less zone pitches in particular. In 2023, there was an overcorrection, meaning the Braves were chasing pitches more than ever. While these 4-game sample sizes aren't indicative of overall skill, it offers insight into how the playoff environment amplifies the effects of slumping players and avoidable blunders. Undoubtedly, the 2023 Braves were not only a historic team, in many ways, they were an anomaly. But that wasn't enough. This year was a phenomenal year for our club. It didn't end the way we wanted, but it doesn't always do that in this game. So, following a season of this nature, how do you move forward? Well, you add pitching. Pierce Johnson, Joe Jimenez, Aaron Bummer, and Reynaldo Lopez all offered high upside bullpen depth, while the acquisition of oft-injured former ace Chris Sale was a worthwhile risk to fill the need of playoff-caliber starter. After all, the inclusion of $17 million from the Red Sox in the trade meant Sale's $16 million 2024 salary from his new 2-year extension could be viewed by the Braves as zero cost to them. A savvy move by a team over the luxury tax threshold with a need for starting pitching in an expensive market, as the Braves found out through their pursuits of Aaron Nola, Sonny Gray, and Dylan Cease.
Well, we got some assistant GMs that have an idea for you.
We already tried.
People trade
Expensive.
trade propositions.
These unsuccessful pursuits led the Braves to steer towards a strategy of identifying value beyond traditional avenues by acquiring Chris Sale, signing Reynaldo Lopez with the intention of transitioning him into a starter at a team-friendly $10 million AAV, and absorbing bad contracts to acquire outfielder and former top 5 prospect Jared Kelenic. While not a headline-grabbing offseason, the Braves flaunted the flexibility their cost control core affords them in terms of taking risks that have the potential to catapult this team towards a championship. A position Fangraphs' playoff odds model recognized, calculating this team's odds of winning the World Series at 25.3%, the highest championship odds Fangraphs has given any team in the past decade. This is World Series or bust.
To the right side, and it gets through. Kelnic's coming home, and the Braves, once down 6, have tied it at 8.
Sadly, Ronald Acuna Jr. suffered a complete left knee ACL tear less than 3 years following the tear in his right knee, one of the plethora of injuries the Braves endured throughout 2024. Think of it like this. Of the 8 2023 Braves All-Stars, 5 of them missed significant time due to injury in 2024, in addition to each player performing worse overall. Yet, because of 2024 All-Stars, Chris Sale, Reynaldo Lopez, and Marcell Ozuna,
And pitcher Max Fried.
they were still in the fight for a playoff spot, offering them the opportunity to recreate a 2021-esque wave of momentum that propels them to title contention. Although, they may have taken this idea a bit too literally. The Braves acquired 2 players at the deadline: 2021 World Series MVP Jorge Soler and 2021 bullpen staple Luke Jackson. The addition of Soler's power to this lineup was a sorely needed lifeline, but not without the downside of sending a DH to man an outfield position. Moreover, Jackson wasn't having a great season himself. Nonetheless, the Braves were satisfied with their moves, and the added bonus of reuniting with former championship contributors was the cherry on top. As The Athletic's Sam Blum labeled it, this was a vibes move to recapture some of that 2021 magic. However, this manufactured vibe didn't fool the baseball gods. August 11th, the first game since September 2018 where the Braves lost after leading by at least 6 runs in the 8th inning, confirming what Braves fans didn't want to hear. This 2024 team was not like 2021. Remember this Ozzie Albies walk-off home run back in 2021? This home run also occurred on August 11th, a direct illustration of the disparity between these 2 seasons. In 2021, August 11th marked an early stage in a miraculous championship run, while in 2024, this date was just a new rock bottom in the midst of a streaky season. This was the critical difference. Instead of a team who thrived when the pressure was at its highest, the 2024 Braves were more akin to the 2023 Padres. An adequate offense on the surface, but beneath laid a frustrating absence of clutchness. Oh my god, Grisham, just swing the bat. While narrowly avoiding an extraordinary downfall from the theoretical near certainty of a playoff berth, as Morgan Wallen put it, the Braves got put out by them damn Padres. Except, in 1998, the Braves were the dominant force of the National League. A team flush with Hall of Famers, the winningest team in franchise history. This team had everything, except for a fitting October conclusion. A painful truth by MLB.com's Mark Bowman that applies to many Braves teams of this era. 14 division titles, 5 National League pennants, only 1 World Series ring. Often when fans study this reign of dominance, there's a subsequent question. why didn't they win more? Through the lens of assuming championships are guaranteed to the best regular season teams, alongside the label of potential dynasty, disappointment is not only understandable, but inevitable. New players, new hurdles, and new opponents every year. Yet there remains an uneasy feeling of familiarity to end an Atlanta Braves season. And no, it doesn't get any easier to accept the losses when you've been disappointed so many times before. Statements written by sports writer Sean McAdam, following the Braves' 1999 World Series loss, the fourth of the decade and their last appearance until 2021. You have to be good to lose this many World Series, said Braves pitcher Greg Maddux. Does he really believe that? Well, it makes it a little easier to go have to look at your friends. In research for this video, I found an eye-opening Reddit thread of Braves fans who experienced both their 1995 and 2021 World Series victories. The question was this: did the 2021 World Series win hit you more than the 1995 World Series win? I was 18 in 95. The main feeling I remember is relief. We had been so close in 91, almost there in 92, further away in 93, no World Series in 94. It started to feel like it was never going to happen. When it did, I felt like, well, good, we got that over with. So for me, 21 was much better. When Acuna went down, I had no real expectations for the season anymore. To win it all after that was so great. The vast majority of the 50+ people in this thread felt the same way. So if you're lucky enough to witness your team win a World Series or any other championship, enjoy it, savor it. Any rumblings of a potential dynasty should be treated as aspirations, certainly not expectations, or else you'll doom yourself to a cycle of constant frustration and disappointment. With that being said, for the Braves, those aspirations aren't going away anytime soon. Following a season defined by injuries and underperformance, to head into spring training with the league's second-best playoff and World Series odds highlights the success of their long-term core. However, in contrast to some of their adversaries making significant impact signings, the Braves' offseason has been defined by departures. Outside of the fun addition of left fielder Jurickson Profar and a near signing of reliever Jeff Hoffman, it's been a quiet offseason in Braves country. On one hand, projection models continue to label the Braves as a World Series favorite. On the other hand, competition in the National League is stronger than ever, meaning the path towards a dynasty is murkier than ever. But that's okay. Dynasties will forever remain a rarity. The Braves tried to build one themselves, and as of right now, it didn't work. However, in the volatile sport of baseball, no outcome is guaranteed. Sometimes even the juggernauts take a back seat to the beaten down underdogs. All in all, the 2021 Braves were a team of resilience, camaraderie, and a historic underdog story for the ages. The losses of 2022 through 2024 don't take that away.